just to go back to Mikołaj Olędzki, could he be the first, well, the greatest performance by a Pole at Wembley since Jan Tomaszewski, who Phil will remember, and Danika will have no idea what I'm talking about.
The clown.
He's a clown. That Paul is a clown.
I think it's safe to say that by the time some people watch or listen to this podcast, the Polish Rugby League Association will have issued a statement saying how proud they are of what he's doing and how much of a role model he is. The Polish Rugby League has just had their first grand final. The first 4 teams have been formed and are playing, and congratulations to Warsaw Tritons, who beat the Lodge Magpies 2018 in the grand. But the fact is, they're playing. They've got a domestic league. They're on the first rung of the ladder of recognition as a federation. Mikołaj, in some of the things that he's been asked about in the national press, is saying, I really hope that the game can take off in my homeland. He's Gdansk born. It's not, solely heritage. He actually, was the first player that was born over there to play in a cup final, and they're going to send that back, saying, we are right behind you, and for young and old players, you really are somebody that we look up to. Whether he plays well or not, I think what we're seeing is the fact that there are spin-offs for this final, and if we're in the NRL, the last regular season round before the playoffs started, a third player of Chilean descent made his NRL debut. I think his name's Daniel Vasquez, and played prop for Cronulla. Now, when all of that is happening, that you feel heartened that we can capitalise on all of this. The World Cup coming up next year with teams like Brazil coming over and playing in the Women's World Cup, and Norway have now got a wheelchair path. They haven't really got government money for the 13-a-side game, but the wheelchair game is getting funding in Norway because they're going to be in a World Cup. And I think if we are clever about all this, and we talk about legacy as though there's a book somewhere you can bring down and go, right, that's how you do it, and that's how you measure it. There is no structured way you can say stuff, but guys like Mikołaj playing at Wembley is potentially really big for the sport in Eastern Europe. Yes.
I mean, I saw the article in the Guardian at the weekend about the number of people from BAME minority groups, whatever the phrase was supposed to say, getting involved in rugby league, and how they are compared to the past is Eastern Europe. And I look at my own city of Wakefield. We have lots of Eastern European shops around, and Eastern European people who've come over here in the last 10-15 years, have families who come through the schools here. Could they be the next breakthrough group of rugby league players, Danika?
You've got an Estonian prop on the programme.
And it comes from grassroots, doesn't it? It comes from schools. It comes from experiences there, I think. And Mikołaj and I always have a bit of a joke that we're the first 2 Eastern Europeans to play. Well, the 2 Eastern Europeans to actually play for England instead. Obviously, I'm not as my heritage is Estonian, but we always have a bit of a joke about that. But it's about it's all about where it starts, isn't it? And it's that cliche thing of like it's all about grassroots level, but it is unless you get that experience when you're young enough. It's not something you'll get into, especially in a community. And I say this because my family is typically Eastern European in the sense that men do the work and the graft, and the women look after the house, and that's still very much the case these days, regardless of what year we're in. So you've got other things, but yeah, could well be the next. He could be the role model for the future talent of Eastern Europe.